We're glad you decided to join us today in our travels through our Biblical Route 66, looking at each of the Old Testament books right now, eventually the New Testament books, and giving each a key word and a key verse. We're looking today at Ezekiel, one of the major prophetic books, Isaiah, Jeremiah, now Ezekiel. Ezekiel was a little different than the other guys. He had already gone into exile. Isaiah was back in Jerusalem and Judah. So was Jeremiah. And Jeremiah and Ezekiel overlapped to some degree, but Jeremiah was back at the home base in the Holy Land. Ezekiel had been taken off into exile during the second wave of the Babylonian captivities. There was 3 different waves. Ezekiel was taken off in the second one, and so in his location in the, not in Babylon itself, but in the territories of Babylon, he prophesied for many years to the people in exile and to some degree to those back into Jerusalem and Judah. As he does so, this is an unusual book. There's a lot of visions, a huge amount of visions, some of them very, very strange. It opens with a very difficult one to interpret concerning angels and wheels and so forth. And then there are numerous object lessons, some of them played out by Ezekiel himself. So all of these are trying to do one major thing that is pointed out in chapter 6, verse 7. You will know that I am the Lord. Now, let me back up for a moment and say our key term, our phrase this time, will be the Son of Man. About 70 different times the term Son of Man is used concerning Ezekiel. Jesus would use that same terminology for himself, same title for himself in the New Testament. Nobody else used it of him, but he used it, and we're called, Ezekiel is called that as well. So our key phrase is Son of Man, but the concept here going throughout the book is that somehow these people had forgotten who God was. And so in chapter 6, verse 7, it says, you will know that I am the Lord. About 70 times that shows up throughout here. We find it even in the same chapter, verse 10. Then they will know that I am the Lord. Verse 13. Then you will know that I am the Lord. Verse 14. Thus they will know I am the Lord. So he wanted them to know he was the Lord, right? And somehow they were missing that point. That was Ezekiel's ministry, to demonstrate to them who the Lord really, really was. Ezekiel was given a number of opportunities for some very important prophecies about the future, not just about doom and gloom and judgment, but also about restoration. Chapter 36, for example, and 37, we have the Valley of Dry Bones, which is a very interesting vision of restoration. Chapters 38 and 39, we have the vision of the battle of Gog and Magog. At the end of times, the Lord will be at these great battles that will protect Israel and bring them back to himself. So we have these. Then in chapters 40 to 48, the end of the book is some of the most mysterious sections found in all the Old Testament, really. We have a description of the end-time temple. This is the temple that has not yet been built. Dimensions are given and all sorts of things about this temple, how it's going to be used, and so forth. And it's caused the interpreters of scriptures no end of controversy and discussion. But what an interesting section. God has a plan for his people Israel, just as he has a plan for all of us who know him to enjoy our life with him. And Ezekiel points out a lot of that as he points to the future. But as we think of him, and we're going to think of a key verse of Scripture, we're going to turn to chapter 36 and verse 27. Here is Ezekiel's rendition of the new covenant. Remember, Jeremiah gives us the fullest and clearest picture of the new covenant. But Ezekiel gives us considerable, but not by name. Never really says really that, but it does give the same description. And in verse 26 of chapter 36 is our key verse and an important section. It says this, I will give you a new heart and put a new spirit within you. That is our key verse. I'm going to read the rest of it. You don't necessarily need to memorize it, but the context goes on to say, I will remove the heart of stone from your flesh and give you a heart of flesh. The Lord is one day going to change our hearts. He's going to give us a new heart and a new spirit so that we can live for him in sincerity and in truth. So we have that to look forward to. And Ezekiel reminds us of that. Our key verse then, I will give you a new heart and put a new spirit within you. Can hardly wait for that. At least I can't. And what a wonderful day in the Lord that will be when he gives us that new heart and that new spirit.